It's another grim milestone for a pandemic that
The U.S. has crossed a jarring milestone in the virus.
Restrictions, as many health experts warn the pandemic is far from over.
Out of desperation, people have been studying every imaginable therapy. Some of the studies are really kind of wacky.
Normally, when we do randomized trials, we ask patients to volunteer to have essentially a 50-50 chance of receiving a drug or an alternative, for example, placebo or just nothing at all. People had an epidemic in front of them and were not prepared to wait.
When I was finally alert enough to know, what was going on, I couldn't barely even walk to the bathroom. It actually hurt when I took a breath in and stuff. When they come in, they offered me this, this drug that really nobody knew what would it do. I said, well, what do I have to lose at this point? So I agreed to go ahead and try it.
Is a little bit like what Amazon or Google is using when it's trying to make guesses about, you chose this, I think you'll like this. It really is about trying to understand what's the most probable successful therapy. And so the trial adjusts over time to make it more likely that the therapies that are working best will be offered most often.
It's a drug that there was never any significant evidence that it would be likely to work. I do think that we learned enough from the remdesivir study to know that it probably does shorten the illness by a few days. There was a recent study announced about a drug known as dexamethasone that also was reported to be positive, but it's not been published yet. Until we see this in a scientific manuscript, and until it's peer-reviewed, it's conjecture. It's not an answer. Unfortunately, science doesn't progress via desperation. It progresses via thoughtful, logical, carefully planned efforts.
I like helping people, so I was happy to participate in the study. That was the reason I fought, because I had family that loved me and my grandbabies and my kids. I'm sure they'll learn about, great pandemic of 2020 in school and stuff, in history, So I'll be able to say I lived through that.